Good morning, I'm Rodney. Thanks for clicking on my video. Hey, it's the Fab Four! Hey, Fab Four. I just saw something, I wanted to show it to you. I don't know if you can see it or not. Freaking rainbow with their big rainbow. Very nice. Okay. Little flower wearing her big sister's shoes. I think that's a very interesting image. It's the Fab Four. Well, I'm going to be going to, I'm just going to go out for a while. To pull up my pants. Holy moly. Really like that piece. Look at that shadow on that thing. It's kind of an interesting shadow. But it looks like it's, to me it looks like it's floating off of the off of the wall. It's got a big space. It's got a shadow back there. It's like it's floating. Nobody cares about that. Nobody cares about that. We got. I need to take this stuff before I go. I'm gonna go outside for a while. I'm gonna go for a little ride. Let's go check it out. I bet you those are the dogs from the neighbors. This neighbor over here has these dogs. He's a good neighbor. He's a nice guy. He tries to keep his dogs in. There's a little bunny rabbit. Keep his dogs in, but they get out and they think they come over here and hassle the neighbors over here. Fucking people, I swear. Even the people that try to keep their dogs in line can't keep them in line. It's just a constant, there's a fucking rooster, constant cacophony of noise here. What are you gonna do? I mean, you live by a bunch of fucking morons, man. You know, it's your own fault, Rodney. It's your own fault. Just wanted to see if those dogs are gonna. I don't know why the neighbors don't go out there and do something about, you know, throw something at the freaking dogs at least. Get them away from your house. But maybe the neighbors have dogs now. Those are the neighbors that had 7 chihuahuas in a freaking space that was smaller than my bathroom. I couldn't handle it. We had to fucking knock down, drag out battles over those fucking dogs. Because I would go over there every time they fucking bothered me. I was over there constantly. I never gave up. Sometimes you'll see those freaking dogs. There's 2 black ones. They'll be going up the fucking driveway, going back home. Went over there and did their little piss off the neighbor's dog for a while. Then go home. The yellow brick road. Well, anyway, I'm happy this morning. I think it was Schopenhauer. He said something, but the amount of noise that you can withstand is in direct proportion to your intelligence. I think it was something like that. In other words, if you can stand a lot of noise, you're dumb. Fab 4. You know what I'm really happy about? I'm happy I'm not smoking pot. I tell you what, that fucking pot, I look back on that. That was a freaking nightmare. It was a nightmare. I spent a lot of money on that shit. Super high grade pot I was smoking. And that stuff will get you stoned. No bullshit. You take a few tokes of that stuff, you're gone. Except what happens is that after you smoke it for like a little while, I was taking a hit off the freaking pipe every 15 minutes. Was another record spit. They're getting the measurements. Oh, it's a record. Oh, it's magnificent. Rodney, you're so gross. We hate it when you spit. Rodney, you're so childish. Yeah? So what are you? I don't know if you've seen this painting before. Oh! It's got all kinds of coffee beans glued to the surface because coffee was discovered. What am I discovered? I guess I don't know if it was discovered. I don't think that's right. What the hell is this fucking thing? Oh, that's funny. That coffee. I believe that coffee was discovered, or I don't know if the word discovered is the proper thing, but that there was a goat herder in Yemen or someplace like that, and that he started to look at the reaction of his goats after they ate these coffee beans, and so he started getting the coffee beans and doing stuff with them, and that's how coffee got started. Drinking coffee. Supposedly, I don't know. Fuck. Fuck it. I don't know. Oh, the guy that had that thing right there. Him and another guy just set another record. It's a 110 plus in the tandem. Now the 110 is like categories of this. I guess. Well, obviously it's going to be the tandem cyclists. So if you have a tandem team, you have two teammates. He holds the record in the individual and the tandem United States time trial champion records. Had it for like 25 years or something. But anyway, it just the other day, him and another guy set a record in the 110. And the 110 in the tandem means that the combination of the ages of the two people on the bike have to be 110 years or more. So if like you have two 55-year-olds, that's 110, so they would be able to be qualified for the 110. So that would be the minimum. Two 55-year-olds. Well, it's an average. If one's 65 and one's 45, that's probably 65 and 45. Is that 110? I don't know. But it's 110 for the years. So it's pretty interesting. That was good. It was real good. Huh? Check out those glutes, huh? Good morning, I'm Rodney. Thanks for clicking on my video. Okay. Noticed the other day that light makes a little bit of a difference. Let's see what it's like outside. Keep waking up in the morning and can't go back to sleep. I was talking to Rocky. He said that happens to him, and he just sits up in a chair until he gets sleepy and then goes back to bed. And that works, but he said if he wakes up and goes back to bed, he can never go back to sleep. So I don't know. It's not too bad. It's a little breezy. Just got a little. Okay, boosters. So. It's right on the cusp of winter gear. But I tell you, we had such an easy summer here, and all of a sudden in the middle of September, it's freaking hotter than fucking hell at times. Well, not that hot, but you know what I mean. Little Flower and her big sister's shoes. So, I think I'll put on a sweatshirt and see what it's like to be out there with shorts. I don't know if that's a good idea. The fuck? Are you shitting me? Fuck you, you. Gonna pick up a sweatshirt, and what pops out? A fucking spider. So now we have to do a little spider identification. I was thinking about somebody that wanted me that likes my videos because I just shuffle around. Oh, fucking thing's still alive, you fucker. Fucking bastard. Whacking it with my sweatshirt because I didn't want to crush it because I want to identify it. The poor spider. What are we going to do? He killed the spider. I don't know. Can't identify it. It's a black spider. It's glued onto that freaking... Fuck you, spider. If anybody knows a good trick to get rid of spiders, let me know. stumbling and fumbling around. I just got out of bed a little while ago. Well, actually, I've been out for a little while. I didn't go for a walk yesterday. I had a thing I had to do in the morning, and I did that. And went to the store. I bought a big bag of freaking sunflower seeds. They didn't have any the other ones were out, so I bought the raw ones. I came home and I roasted them. I think it's called roasting. I don't know. I put some oil in a pan, put it on hot, put them in there, and shoveled them around for a while until they got kind of brown with a little salt. They were pretty good. But I ate you can't do that, Rodney. You just can't. That's the only thing I ate, I think, yesterday was fucking seeds. And then a thing of nuts about that big. Mixed nuts. That was on sale at the grocery store. Thank God I'm not eating those stupid crackers and peanut butter and honey. That was a fucking nightmare. Nobody cares. Which is understandable. Nobody cares except the fat poor. They care. Don't you care, Ringo? Do you care, Ringo? Yeah, well, right, Ringo. Carries his big bass drum around with him because he's a drummer. Well, anyway. I'm going to go out there and crank it up. Then I got to go to the doctor today. I'm going to go see Berto today. I'm going to go to the doctor and get a blood test. Not the doctor, but the blood test place. My blood test was fine the last time. And what they did is the doctors, the medical field has changed like the recommendations that for a cancer patient that they want your numbers even lower than what they thought the numbers would be. So now the doctor upped my medication. So I'm going to go and get a blood test. Been on the medication for about 6 weeks. So then I'll get a new test today and get the results. I think I'm going to go to the doctor on Friday because I want to go and talk to him personally. He's a good guy. I mean, he's helped me out quite a bit, you know. He really has. He didn't have to do that. So he's a good person, and I like the guy. Turn on the light so you can see me, because I know that you just love seeing the wonderful, the magnificently modest hello Rodney. Fucking roosters. Nobody cares about the roosters. And this is the whole rooster thing is new. When I lived out here way back, there were no fucking roosters. And there were no roosters until just recently, until all of a sudden now it's a cool thing to have roosters. Dumbest fucking people ever. Oh, let's get a rooster, it'd be a pet. Oh, cuckoo, cuckoo, you fucking people, man. I wonder how many people have been shot because of their dog. I bet you there's a lot. Because I'm a mellowed out guy. I wonder how many people have just gone nuts. There was a guy on, he wrote a comment on one of my videos. I fucking unsubscribed from the guy. Then he came back and put a nice comment, so I resubscribed to him. But I haven't watched his videos very much. But he bought some property or something, and now he's moving in. And one neighbor's really great, and the other neighbor is an ass. Don't ever move to a place like this. I'm telling you, don't ever do it. Now it's better than it's better than living in Albuquerque, I think, for me, because I just it's better. I mean, it's not good, but it's not as bad as some places. But if you're a person that wants peace and quiet, forget it. Forget it. And then you learn a lot about people. The people care more about their dogs than they care about you. Yeah, their dogs are their children because they're so. I don't even know what the word is. I'm going for a walk. Oh boy. I was out there before dawn, and as the sun was coming up, it was this really nice cloud out there. It was almost like an isolated cloud, and starting to get this orangish coloration. It was beautiful. When I saw that, I was thinking about people that do landscapes and all that. If you want to be a painter, you can learn how to be a painter. It's like being a plumber, except different. I never took any lesson type stuff because I just did it on my own, experimenting, because that was more interesting and more fun for me. But if you want to be a good landscape painter, go take a few classes and start painting. You'll pick it up. I showed you that thing when I came in, that bowl. This guy took one of my drawings of my wife sunbathing and put it on his pot, and he gave me credit for it. He was this guy, I've known him. Well, he's dead now. He was a modern artist, and this is back in the 70s. He was a modern artist in the 70s, but he wasn't making any money. So one day I went over to a studio, and he was doing bowls like that, painting landscape scenes on them. I told him, I said, looks like something that's made in Korea. That was my critique of his new direction. But I understood what he did it. He did it because he wasn't going to make any money doing his thing. He was going to have to turn himself into something different. He was going to have to become a landscape painter, which was exactly the opposite of anything that he had been. Pretty much, he was a modern artist. That's from '76, I think. He gave me that painting. And he started doing landscape paintings because he needed the money. He gave up, which is okay. Just changed directions. There were these guys. He also did this bowl right here, this thing right here, which is excellent. It's a very early piece, which is beautiful and great. And then this came from another artist, another local guy. The Power of the Mind. It's a fantastically beautiful piece right here. His very first, 1967, his very, very first metal sculpture. And I have it right there. The Power of the Mind. Guys from the town that I grew up in, both of them are dead now. There's a painting that guy did who did the rooster. That was a long time ago. I don't know if it's dated on the back or not. But he didn't like that painting, I think. I think he signed it. He signed it right here. He signed it on the back. And then he put these stripes here. I think that's what happened. And I think what happened is he looked at it and said, I don't like that painting. I'll put those stripes there and then do something. He's going to do something else and probably change his mind and forget it. He's taking it and putting it underneath his house, and I saw him. I asked him about the painting, so I bought the painting from him. That was many years ago. That was back in the, I don't know when that was. It was a long, long time ago. I bought that rooster from him a long time ago, too. Many, many years ago. He's got to work in the Hirshhorn. It was Mr. Hirshhorn called him up, told him that he would be collecting his work if he was still collecting that kind of thing, but you know he wasn't. It was a wood assemblage. It's great. I remember seeing that in like 60, 68 maybe. It's in the Hirshhorn. But the guy, he quit, you know. Freaking quit. Started making landscape paintings. That was good. Landscape painter. It's better to do something that you can make money at and stay within your field, within your field of interest, than it is to just stay within your field of interest and fumble along and figure out how to make a living. What are you going to do? He made a living by selling pottery, and by selling paintings. Good for him. Killed him. Sure as hell. Totally screwed up his life. Because what he did is he damaged his shoulder. You know, if you do something and you start damaging yourself, you got to quit or you got to figure out some other way to do it. And he kept just hurting his shoulder. So he went to the doctor. The doctor gave him cortisone or something like that, and he kept going back. And the doctor said, "I can't give it anymore." It was fucking him up, you know. So he just decided to go to Mexico and do it. And eventually, he got to the point where he couldn't even use his shoulder. Had to go in for surgery and have his shoulder it was just a big fucking nightmare. And then he was on all kinds of bad pain medication. It pissed everybody off. You know. He got to the point where people didn't want to even be around the guy. I mean, I lived away from him. So, I mean, he wouldn't even take phone calls anymore. We would chat on emails and stuff. And, you know, he was lucid in the emails. But last time I saw him, you could tell he was in serious shape. There was somebody who sent me an email that they like my videos where I just shuffle around. I'll do this. I'll do a lap. There have been times. You can see my studio right here. This is my bookcase, and then it goes over here, and then there's my stove. And I'll just like. I think I've done videos where I just do nothing but except walk around this area right here. And that's what I do sometimes. Oh, no, I don't do it now. I think this is mostly when I was smoking pot. I would just walk around this freaking island. That's unbelievable. The little dinger thing fell off. I put it on there with some tape just to see if it was going to work. It worked. Now the dinger fell off, so this goes back into its area where it will be turned into a pendant. I'm going to go into town today and do that blood test to see Berto. Berto's got something to do about 1 o'clock, so I'll spend the morning with Berto and probably have lunch or something and then end up coming home. Then I have to do that thing on Friday. Well, I've got a doctor's appointment on Friday, and then I have to do get the corn thing on Friday from my buddy. And that'll be good. I remember one time I took an art class once in high school, and the instructor said, "You can do better than that." So I did something differently and took my time doing it. I got an A on that. It was a mobile. It was different than that. That's really not much of a mobile. Alexander Calder, I saw his circus in New York at the Whitney. He did a circus. Alexander Calder was great. He was an awesome artist. And he was doing these things out of wire. And he was doing a show in Washington. And they said, "Oh, where's all your stuff?" He pulled out a roll of wire and some pliers. He made the show he made it right there. Good for him. I wish I had a Calder. I've got you can't even see it. That's a Joseph Albers. I'd rather have a Calder than a Joseph Albers. The Joseph Albers, he was a color theorist. He was a guy that worked with a guy named, what's his name? Johann Itten. Johann Itten was introduced to me by a guy who, as a matter of fact, the guy who introduced me to Johann Itten is this guy right here. That guy right there introduced me to Johann Itten. Johann Itten came out, and I think Albers too, came out of the Bauhaus. They were color theorists. So that's where I get my ideas about color. Which is basically scientific studies of color. But color is something that you kind of have an idea about it, that you develop a kind of sense about what you enjoy. This is one of the first pieces I did after I met the guy who introduced me to Johan Eiten. Can't see it very well, but these are basically complementary colors: red and green, yellow and purple. That's a long time ago we did that. That's from the 70s. Oh, maybe from the 80s. I look back on it. I tell you what, I was just a person that, I don't know if you want to call it delusional or whatever you want to call it, but I mean, I figured, yeah, I can do this. And people can do a lot of things if they want to do it like on a minimal level, but to take it to that next level, to really go forward, sometimes it's very difficult. I remember when I got to LA, there were these guys talking, and this one guy, he was talking about how a lot of artists are just like roaches scurrying around picking up scraps, kind of thing. And I didn't really kind of understand that, but later I did. And before I went to LA, there was a guy, I met him, who was in a bar. I used to go to bars, I didn't drink, but I would go there because, I like to dance and all that kind of stuff. I met this guy. And he was an artist. And he was telling me about how you have to, if you're gonna do it for money, you're gonna end up having to make a lot of compromises. And I wasn't thinking along those kind of lines. Because it's not what artists think about, that have this sort of, even if it's a delusional quality about it, you still have this idea about who you are and what you want to do. So I couldn't go along with what that guy was saying, but later I realized that, yeah, he was right. You do. Remember one time I was in a show in Tucson. It was an American. It was a money show, is what it was. And so I got to go there for free, set up for free, because I did money paintings. And they did little stories about me and all that. So it was cool. It was very good. This is in Tucson. And they did these photographs, and I got this phone call when I got back to LA. This guy was sending me, he wanted to buy this particular painting that was photographed in this magazine. I said, okay, yeah, I've got it. I'll sell it to you. I ended up selling that painting. I traded that painting for a 1 ounce gold coin, which is freaking awesome. So, and also one time I traded a painting for a gold necklace. I used to wear it around. It was a really nice gold chain. And I traded a painting for that, and then I traded a painting for 1 ounce gold coin. And so I was talking to the guy, and we were talking about the painting, and the guy says, I really like the painting. There's one thing that I just really hate is this particular blue. Well, the blue he was talking about was exactly the same color as the painting, because the photograph in the magazine, the color was off. So what I did is I got the magazine. I matched the color. It was the border. It was a big border. I matched the color of the magazine article and repainted the border, because I didn't want the guy to get the painting and say, I told you I hated that, I didn't want that to happen. And I needed the money So I made that compromise. A lot of artists, oh, we would never do that. Well, then figure out how to pay your rent, buddy. Because, you know, all of your, your artistic ethics. Nobody gives a shit. Take your artistic ethics to the grocery store and see how many freaking potatoes you can buy with that. So I shipped out the painting. It was a done deal. I got a Mexican 1-ounce gold coin for that painting. Coulda, woulda, shoulda stayed in the business of dealing with silver. Because silver is an interesting material. If you have it, you've got something. See that painting right there? I really like that painting a lot. It's one of my favorite paintings. It's one of my favorite constructions now because it's got that other painting of the American flag and the New Mexico flag underneath it. So it really, that really tied the whole thing together and made it an actual piece that I really like. I really like that painting. But if I want to sell that, so what? But if I've got, 10 ounces of silver, I can always take it to some guy who's got a scale, put it on the scale, and then there's a little table that you can go by to find out what it's worth. And then you know that you have that. So silver and gold are actual money. Whereas paintings are not actual money. Now I traded a painting that I had to redo the border for a 1-ounce gold coin. So that was money, but the guy wanted it. So gold and silver are liquid assets. You can take them down to the store. You can take a piece of silver or gold, go down to some place, probably in your hometown or wherever you are, and somebody will give you cash for it. Try and do that with that bowl or those paintings or that or whatever. See how that works out for you. When you bet on the wrong horse, you know what? You bet on the wrong horse.